Hello and welcome to Juice with Justin. In today's episode, I'm going to try to cover a complex topic in a simple way. Train. How do? This is the quarantine edition version 2. I'm going to talk about how I would design a training plan, a training session, assuming a couple things. You're in a quarantine situation where you have limited space. 2, you have zero equipment. At PPC, we use a training template I like to call PPC pillars that tick off a lot of boxes when it comes to training qualities that provide a lot of benefit. I've used this template in 8,000 plus sessions to this date with much success. And I can say for sure it will work for someone like you. In a training session, you need to cover 4 points. 1, we gotta get a movement prep. We gotta warm up. 2, we need to train athletic qualities. 3, we gotta train strength. Lastly, we gotta hit the trunk area, that midsection. So what might this look like based on the assumptions that I laid out before? So we got a warm-up and we have limited space. Maybe you have 2 meters by 2 meters, and I would choose 6 to 8 exercises that would cover a lot of different things. I'm not going to get into that because I did a in-depth video on the warm-up. Check that out if you'd like more depth. 2, we got to cover athletic stuff. We train predominantly 3 different things. The foot, calf, and ankle complex. Here we could do pogos and their variations. I'd probably do 2 to 4 sets of 10 to 20 reps depending on what you're doing there. We also want to cover vertical athleticism, vertical force production. Things like squat jumps. I might do 2 to 4 sets of 4 to 6 squat jumps with really high intent, like 90% plus intent, to ensure that I'm working on those qualities. Lastly, within that athletic bracket, we want to cover horizontal stuff, horizontal athleticism. Think of things like sprinting and speed. Obviously, we can't do that in a 2 by 2 meter square area, but we could work on technique. We could do fast high knees for 10 to 15 seconds, 2 to 4 sets. Or we could do some wall lean marches and do 8 to 20 reps, 2 to 4 sets of that, depending on how you feel and where you're at. Third thing in our PPC training template, we got to get athletic strength. These are my PPC pillar movements. We've got to squat, we've got to hinge, we've got to push, and we've got to pull. With regards to the sets and reps, we're going to do 2 to 4 sets of 5 to 12 repetitions, or we're going to do 25 to 45 seconds of work within a set. So for the squat, hinge, and push, it's easy to find exercises that you can do body weight or with minimal equipment. For a squat, you might do a body weight squat or lunges. Hinge movements, you could do glute bridges or single leg RDLs. For push, you can do a bunch of different push-up variations. Pull. Now for pull, that's where it gets a little bit trickier. If you don't have a pull-up bar or something sturdy that you can hang from, you can't do a vertical pull. If you've got a sturdy table, you could try to do inverted rows. If this isn't an option, the last one would be to do some sort of row iso. You could grab a long beach towel, sit upright on the ground, put your legs out in front of you, and throw the towel over your feet. That way the feet anchor the towel. What you'd want to do next is pull on the towel where your elbows just get past your midline against a nice and tight towel. You can pull against that towel that's not moving for 25 to 45 seconds, and that's going to provide you a pull stimulus. So instead of doing 5 to 12 repetitions, whether you're doing it body weight, whether you've been able to load the movement with, maybe like a backpack with some stuff in it, or a LaVie bottle that can weigh up to 19 liters, if that doesn't provide you enough stimulus, enough difficulty, then you can do isometrics in weak positions. That example I gave with the pull, you could do that with a push-up at the bottom. At the bottom of a push-up, you can hold for 30 seconds, and that's going to provide you a pretty good stimulus. Fourth and last thing that we got to cover in our PPC training template, the trunk. I would choose 2 exercises from movements that flex the trunk, so you could do something like crunches or leg raises. Things that rotate the trunk, Things like plate twists or Russian twists. If you don't have a plate, you can just go with your hands. Things that don't make you rotate. So we can do things like bird dogs and stuff that doesn't extend the trunk. So here we're talking about plank variations. Sets and reps for the trunk, I would do 2 to 3 sets, 10 to 20 reps depending, or 25 to 45 seconds of work within the set. So there you have it, folks. That is how I would structure a training session in quarantine. You've got your movement prep, we train athletic stuff, we work on strength in our PPC pillars, and we hit the trunk. If you are currently in a quarantine situation, if you need something that is more structured than I just gave you now, check out PPC Pillars. It's a PPC approved, at home, body weight training solution that lasts 6 weeks and has already been used by many people just like you with much success. If you have any questions about what I talked about today, shoot me a DM, send me an email, reach out to me on social media, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Thank you for joining this episode of Juice with Justin.